Welcome to elxis Open Source CMS. elxis is a powerful web page content management system with many new amazing characteristics. In this tutorial we will demonstrate the installation of elxis latest version. First you have to get elxis. Visit elxis Download Center. Type www.elxis-downloads.com at your browser's address bar to visit EDC. EDC is an acronym for elxis Download Center. Find the latest version and choose it for downloading. Click to download elxis latest version at your computer. Wait until it's finished before proceeding to the next step. Once download is completed you have to unzip the installation folder. Then upload all files that you will find inside it at your web server using your favorite FTP client. You can use a subdirectory but we strongly recommend to upload files at your web server's root directory. File structure will look much like to what can see in this screenshot. After uploading all elxis files at your web server, open your web browser and type in the address bar the location that elxis folder contents were uploaded and hit enter to proceed. elxis will automatically redirect you to the installation wizard. The installer environment will be displayed at your system's language. To change installation language, click at the language selector and choose from the drop-down box. This system is in Greek, so I will switch it. OK. I switched to English. Now, let's explore a little the new elxis installer. Look at the upper right corner. You see those icons? There are some useful shortcuts to elxis sites. Visit them if you want more help or need to find any other information. Now let's focus on the installation process. At the top of the page there is an indicator of the overall process. Installation of elxis CMS is split in 8 steps. Step 1. Pre-installation check. I will scroll down to show you all page contents. This step elxis will perform some tasks in order to check if your server meeting elxis requirements. Most important is the items of this box. If any of these items are highlighted with red, then please take actions to correct them. Failure to do so could lead to your elxis installation not functioning correctly. Next box below. List of supported databases by your system, highlighted with green color. Note that some other may also be available like SQLite. Next. These settings are recommended for PHP in order to ensure full compatibility with elxis. However, elxis will still operate if your settings do not quite match the recommended. Just below is another box. In order for elxis to function properly it needs folders cache and TMPR to be writable. That is mandatory. If they are not writable please make them writable. Depending on the situation elxis might need to write to other folders too. For instance during a module installation elxis will need to upload files on folder modules. If you see unwritable you can change the permissions on directory to allow elxis to be able to write to it. For maximum security, you may leave it unwritable and make it writable just before going to use it. If you enable FTP later, elxis will be functional even if some of these folders are read-only. So, ready for the next step? Scroll down and hit button Next. Step 2. elxis license. To continue installing elxis please read the elxis license and if you agree check the box under the license. Check the box if you agree. And press button Next to continue. Step 3. FTP access. elxis uses a temporary file to store configuration parameters during the installation procedure. elxis installer must be able to write on this file. So you must either make this file writable or enable FTP access in order for the installer to be able to write on it using an FTP connection. Enabling FTP access over files solves many file-related problems with permissions. If you enable FTP, elxis will be able to write on folders and files that are unwritable by PHP. elxis installer will also be able to save the final configuration file to your site, otherwise you may have to create and upload it manually. Okay, now let's type our FTP account details and enable FTP access. To be sure that your settings are correct, you can use elxis built-in function to check FTP settings. A success message appears if all settings are correct. Otherwise a failure message will appear. Enabling FTP is not mandatory, but we strongly recommend it. Once you are ready, press Next to continue. Step 4. Database. Fill in all needed information in order elxis to connect to the database and import basic data. To avoid problems by the elxis installer, make sure that database already exists and user has all required privileges. Enter database host name. Usually this is localhost. Select your database type. To the link next to the drop-down box you can find a list with all database types supported by elxis. Now continue with giving the database name. And continue with the rest of informations you have to fill. Database user, and password. If the database has data from previous elxis installations, you need to check these boxes in order drop old data and proceed with the new. Or scroll up and give an other table prefix to store data in this database. If you are sure about all settings here, press Next to continue. Step 5. Site settings. At this step you can set some basic settings of your site. The name of your site, the server time offset, language, cache, search engine friendly URLs. All of them can be configured later on from Site Administrator. Check this box. If URL and path looks correct, then please do not change. If you are not sure, then please contact your ISP, or System Administrator. Usually the values displayed will work for your site. Search engine friendly URLs. We highly recommend to enable it. elxis will generate search engines and human-friendly URLs, instead of the standard one. If you had enable FTP access at step 3, then click here to rename htaccess.txt and check yes to enable search engine friendly URLs. If you have not enabled FTP access, or you want to do it later, then you have to rename it by yourself later on. Now you can proceed with next step. Step 6. Content and layout. Select the default template for your website. You can change your selection afterwards or download and install additional templates. Install sample data. elxis allows to specify your site content and appearance from the beginning by selecting a sample data package that best suits your site needs. You may also select not to install sample data at all, but we don't recommend it, unless you have experience with elxis. If you decide what to do with sample data, continue to the next step. Step 7. Personal information. Fill your name, your login name and password, for elxis Administrator, and your email. Finished. Let's go for the last. Step 8. Congratulations! You have finished the installation of elxis Open Source CMS. Last action to take. Completely delete installation folder. Automatically delete installation folder by clicking this link. If this fails, then delete installation folder manually. That's it. Done. I think it is time to visit your new site.